What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the left side of the map in the red color, playing as Isis. His name is CountVonCount. I just love that name. How good is that name? CountVonCount. Okay, anyways, onwards and upwards. His opponent today, in the blue color, playing as Loki. His name is Suppe. Husk Suppe to be absolutely clear about that. Anyways, we're seeing Suppe here. He's starting out with a very, very interesting build order. Now, the thing is here, I actually don't recommend this build order at all on Osiris. The reason is that you really, really want to get out double Ulfsar. We'll get more into this later, but this new build order is really, really strong for Odin players, because it allows you to get as little amount of gold gathering time from a gatherer as possible. So you've got one gatherer on here. Normally you go with two gatherers on gold before you start getting your dwarves out. So it's just a little tiny efficiency, which really increases your early game. Now, back to the point is the early game on Oasis doesn't matter. The reason why it doesn't matter is because the hunt is so absurdly low. All of your aggressive timings, all of the aggressive, not even aggression, all of your timings are just going to be so heavily delayed that that's just not the correct way to be trying to play Oasis, in my opinion, as we are seeing Suppe going to be scouting out CountVonCount's base. He finds the tower. He's got to be a little bit careful about where the town center is, though he has worked that one out nicely. He sees the villagers over here, dropping the spy down, sees the gold mine there on this side. He's probably going to be thinking that maybe an Heimdall rush is going to be a way to go here. Anyways, back to the point. Double Ulfsar here, the way to go, because you're going to be able to grab at least 3/4 of the goats in most matchups, which is really, really important. But we might, in this matchup with the way CountVonCount is actually opened here, CountVonCount didn't send his Pharaoh around scouting, I don't think, in the early game. Yeah, it doesn't really, actually it does look like he did scout this. It looks like he did scout this, and look at this. That is the he sees the gazelle. Never mind. I was gonna be like, that is the most baller move to scout, to send his villagers into this corner here where he hasn't seen the giraffe, because the giraffe could technically be here, but he did see the gazelle there anyways. So Count has already scouted this bottom part. He sends the priest down to the other side. So if Suppe had gone double Ulfsar at the start, he could have actually scouted the entirety of this side of the map first, scouted this here, and then come over here and clean up the rest of this, had three-quarters of the map scouted first, and had the most goats here and be able to use those really nicely. But because he didn't, we can see the amount of goats he's actually secured is probably going to be relatively equal. As you see 12 here, I might actually be completely wrong. We see 12 goats here, 13 goats being found for Suppe, as opposed to CountVonCount, who's got 7. So I guess he has gotten roughly the same amount, but anyway, point is that most of the time you'll have more if you go the other way. So we'll see how things are going to go. Isis versus Loki on this map. It's just very spicy, because I think that Loki in this matchup is actually like Loki real. I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean that. Okay, let's start again. Loki in this matchup is a hidden OP. I believe in this matchup, hidden OP for many reasons. One very big reason being the fire giant. If you can get there and have a strong economy to support it, is really, really tough to deal with Isis. You can make mummies and such, but generally speaking, the monuments are quite expensive. The favor is quite difficult to get, and if you lose your Son of Osiris somehow, which you inevitably will be losing it at some point, then those fire giants just start really, really hurting you in the late game. And if you can't win the late game here as Egyptian, then what's the point in playing Egyptian? So we'll see if that's going to be the case here in this game, or if I'm way off. But Suppe here, he has found his hunt. So luckily, finding that hunt a little bit late, he's advancing very, very late in this game. He's got himself 6 villagers on food, 5 on wood, 4 on gold. So it actually looks like roughly a regular advance time here, actually, though I might maybe a little bit of idle time on his town center or something like that, dropping some houses in the corner of the map. I actually don't mind this, though. This is more of a thing you should be doing against potentially Greek or or Chinese, I guess, but mostly against the Greeks here, because the houses they can get earthquaked, whereas against Egyptian they can't really get cleaned up by a tornado or a meteor, so you're going to be completely fine. Anyways, we've got a whole bunch of wood here, and it is looking as if Suppe is going to be going for a fast second town center here in this matchup. I recommend this a lot of the time on the lower hunt maps here with Norse. I think this is 100% the way to go in the early game, especially against Isis, but when you're going up against Ra or Set, you do find yourself having just a little bit of a problem against some situations, but we'll see what's going to happen here as the troll comes through. He does find boots to kick everything. That's a huge relic to have spotted there by Suppe. We'll see if he's going to move over there straight away and pick that one up or not. It'll be really interesting to see if that's the case there, as Bastard is just about to pop here for CountVonCount. He's gone very, very late to the classical age, but it is looking like he is going to be dropping himself a second town center. Now, this late of a classical age here, I would normally expect to see a 3 town center drop, but CountVonCount here, he's got himself some preset, he's got himself the Pharaoh out, and he's playing it really, really nice and defensively here. For Suppe to be able to stop this town center, he actually technically could be able to do this if he kind of played around CountVonCount going this way, which is, it's definitely a strange, unmeta playstyle here from CountVonCount. But had Suppe had like his standard 6-minute 1 town center classical army, this town center would never go up here. As Suppe does scout that out, he's going to be sneaking through with his troll, not wanting to lose that, not being too silly there, picking up the relic over here, going to bring it back home. And we'll see how things are going to go here, as the town center is now up for Suppe. The Sphinx does spot that, but both players with their town center up at roughly the same time. I would say it's probably a little bit late here for Suppe to get that town center up at 6:30 if he drops it straight away, but it's a rough map here for him nonetheless, so we'll see. I mean, it's completely fine, but he has to kind of work out the way forward now. Now, I recommend against Egyptian for 2 town center Norse players to go Herser raiding cavalry right off the bat here. So drop your barracks, drop your double barracks, go limited amount of villages on wood, and just pump as much as you possibly can out. The problem is on Oasis, you do need to get farms out. So you're going to have to work that out a little bit here, as the Sphinx does snipe down that troll. Going to be searching for some snipes over here on these villages here as the obelisk is over here, but we do already see the Suppe Herser coming over here with 5.04 speed to deal with this Sphinx, and it should be completely fine here. We'll see how he's going to snipe that away as it's retreating there. No worries. As we do see the Sir moving up to the top side of the map, going to be searching around for something to take out, maybe pick off some obelisks, prevent that 3rd town center from getting grabbed. The question is going to be, can CountVonCount get to the heroic age here? And it looks like he is attempting to. He's just a little bit short on the gold. He's grabbing this gold mine over here, walling this in. I like that play there from him, eating up the rest of these goats. He has actually cut villages quite heavily here, as he is still short on that food, wanting to get a very, very efficient, not efficient, but a very, very fast heroic age time. We'll see what he's going to do with this, because Ancestors Eclipse against Loki is not the best god power combination in the world, because normally the Loki player is going to have a ton of Herser out. Suppe here, he's got a lot of gold in the bank, and he's got a lot of goats remaining here, as we are going to be seeing that armory coming down. I think that this is a mistake here from Suppe. I definitely don't think you should be rushing heroic age as viciously as Suppe is going for here. You're going to get hit by some timings from Egyptian a lot of the time and not actually be able to survive. Much better would be to, well, my opinion at the very least, maybe, well, Suppe is the Norse expert, but the best way to play, in my opinion, for Loki is to have a really large classical army and then be preventing that slow Egyptian army from moving across the map, controlling it, walling up, making some defensive buildings, some walls and things like that, preventing them from coming at you. And then once you hit the heroic age, you've got an army with Bragi to like surround the enemy units and try and flaming weapons and kill off their entire army while they're trying to push across the map. As the Herser trying to push through here, going to break down that wooden wall over here as we are seeing the Scorpion Men on this location. We see some Axemen coming out here. Generally speaking, the best units to pop out here for CountVonCount and for Norse, for Egyptian in general, is going to be Axemen, maybe some cavalry, maybe some chariot archers here. With Egyptian, maybe the cavalry not so good. We are seeing that Suppe is happily trying to take this fight over here against the Axemen. The Axemen not much numbers just yet, but the priest going to be getting some good damage down as Suppe's going to have to try and micro this to the best of his ability. He still doesn't have himself Hall of Thanes just yet. Obviously wanting to get some farms out. Lots of villagers on the wood over here as maybe Hall of Thanes is now coming through as the villagers going to be retreating back. We see the Herso pulling back. He needs to throw up walls here. This is vitally important here to slow down the Egyptian movement across the map, because what putting walls up over there does basically forces siege towers in first, and it really slows down the units from getting to your opponents onto your own base. But we aren't seeing that just yet. He's throwing walls up on the top corner of the map. We are seeing a Scorpion Man looking for some raids over here. As barracks is down, more villagers popping out. Farms are slowly going to start coming up here for Suppe. And the problem is, yes, here is the problem. The units move forward and they're going to be hitting this gold mine nearly immediately here, forcing Suppe to have to fight somewhat here in this game, or at least giving CountVonCount a very easy route to drop like a Migdol stronghold down here as Suppe is retreating back home. Longhouse coming up. Herso sitting on this healing spring. They don't really want to fight these Axemen just yet. We do see an Eindiar spawn though. That's going to be a really big help in that fight, but he does decide very smartly to pull back with the priest already in the back here. One thing that some of the other top Loki players do is we do see an Ancestors Eclipse coming down into this location. I like that play there. Going to be hitting some economy onto this Suppe army. But one thing that some of the other Loki players do here is once the units move forward, you send the Herser around onto this location and start sniping chariot archers or priests from behind and all that good stuff. As we are seeing the Herso going to come over here. The minions going to be retreating away from this location. Some free favor going to be coming out onto this location over here. We do see the Herso popping through the town center there. Nice garrison micro as the Axemen going to come over here, chasing down those Herso over here as the minions going to be moving around onto this location. The villagers can pop back out and start gathering resources here as the Herso going to jump into this town center here, keeping everyone nice and alive here as the villagers on this location going to start getting taken down here. And this is really the problem which starts to arise when you go for this greedy heroic age here from Suppe. It's just he doesn't have the military units. He doesn't have the secured gold mine. Military units. He doesn't have the military buildings to spend the resources that he should be gathering here. And Suppe's going to be in a very tough position moving forward, as we actually see. I like that play there from the minion sniping down the goat. I think it was by accident, but picking off those goats nice and early there, preventing them from getting to 300 food. Very nice. Here is the Herso going to come through, taking out those chariot archers. Going to be really helpful as Suppe desperately needs to get onto a gold mine, as we are seeing not a barracks, but a market. It's like a market coming up on this location for CountVonCount to start working his way through. Let's see what CountVonCount actually sees here, as he's got more walls getting set up, the market going up over here. We see the gold mines over here getting kind of secured to some degree here. Suppe might be wanting to think about throwing up a hill fort or something over here, some more walls onto this location. As the battle boar getting targeted down over here. Those priests here, do they have funeral rites? No funeral rites just yet, but he is grabbing it immediately. Unfortunately, he's actually accidentally ungarrisoned his Tusk of the Iron Boar, which is actually a really important relic to have here, because those chariot archers get even stronger as the army going to be pushing in onto this position. I do think, we see flaming weapons getting dropped here by Suppe super early. I'll talk about this after the fight, but we'll see how it's going to go. Suppe definitely should be cleaning up this fight, and he will be securing this gold mine, and that will be a really good thing for him moving forward. But as he wins this fight, cleans up all the units, it does leave him with a very weak point moving forward in this game. And that weak point is the Son of Osiris. When it comes down to the very top level, the god-powered trades in this matchup, generally speaking, need to be heroic age god power from Norse trading for that Son of Osiris of Egyptian. Otherwise, things can be really tough. So this might be an issue that Suppe's going to have to work out how to deal with here, as these chariot archers will end up getting picked off. The chariot archers still scouting around. We see the third town center coming up for CountVonCount. And Well, here's the thing. There is still a way for Suppe to deal with Son of Osiris, but what he needs to do now is not get too overly aggressive. He needs to set up Ballaster, basically. He needs to set up Ballaster to deal with the Son of Osiris nearly immediately. If we take a look at his resources, his economy is gigantic. The Norse economy is always going to be in front of the Egyptian economy. It's just that their units are a little bit more expensive. So it kind of balances out. Units and buildings are a little bit more expensive. So it kind of balances out in the end of the day here, as CountVonCount trying to throw up a barracks on this location to prevent Suppe from grabbing this one. But all the Herse are coming in. 14 Herse are going to be grabbing that one over there as this villager does get taken out. The third town center up for CountVonCount as he's now starting to push in onto this location. I still would have liked to have seen a wall over here from Suppe to defend this gold mine, but he's happily allowing that to be open at this point as the town center is going to be just about up here for Suppe. The chariot archers moving in onto this location. Suppe needs to sort this out just a little bit. How is his economy looking? Does he have himself irrigation just yet? No irrigation. It's not coming through. I do speak about this quite a bit, but irrigation is definitely the most important of upgrades for Norse, unless you've got Skadi, in which case Winter Harvest is the most important upgrade for Norse's economy, because the food just so important. As we see that big ticket upgrade coming through now for Suppe. Heavy Raiders is the upgrade you really, really want before you start engaging an Egyptian army with those raiding cavalry. It's such a big ticket upgrade. You might look at it and go, it's just 10% hack damage, 15% hit points, but it's a lot. It really does feel like a lot when you're playing from the Egyptian side of things and when you're playing from the Norse side of things, as Suppe tries to get a bit of a surround over here to prevent the retreat from coming through. The wooden wall here going to be blocking Suppe from entering at this point here, as Suppe is miles ahead in score right now from CountVonCount, but he needs to figure out a way to consolidate his advantage right now, because just being ahead on score with Norse, generally speaking, not enough, as we do see these chariot archers sneaking into this corner here. The Herse are going to be able to deal with that very, very easily. If we move over to CountVonCount's perspective, he's got full villages right now. He's got himself, does he have the upgrades? He doesn't have any irrigation yet, but he has sacred cats. As he gets irrigation, that's going to really boost his economy. I do say this a lot. I'm not 100% sure if it's correct. I should check the tool table. I will check it and let you know after the game, but I think that it's really important for Egyptian players to get sacred cats and irrigation at the same time. If they have irrigation and plow, it doesn't really give you any effective bonus on your upgrade, on your farming there, I think. As Suppe is deciding to just leave this army here. It's completely out of position. He's leaving the army. He's going straight up here. He's going to break through this wall on this location and start putting some pressure onto this town center. I like that army movement from Suppe. If he can drop like a hill fort or something over here, as we are seeing a Migdol stronghold getting thrown up here, but Suppe is doing that nicely. He doesn't have a market up just yet. As more farms are coming out, you can see how many farms he's actually got already. He's got 28 villages on food here. He's going to be going up to something like 35 or nearly 40 villages on food. Definitely an important thing, but he does need to throw up that market very soon so he can get an efficient mythic age. As the chariot archers are going to be moving on to this location. He could come and grab this gold mine here if he so chooses, as we are now starting to see some spearmen coming out here. As the numbers of raiding cavalry to spearmen, it is really important to get this mixed really, really nicely here, as we are now starting to see some armory upgrades coming through here for Suppe, as well as the archery, as the Egyptian economy does start really, really struggling at this point here, as the Herse are pushing through into this location, going to be taking out those chariot archers really nicely, clean up all of those spearmen beautifully, as the rest of those units getting taken out. The ox cart over here does go down, as the villagers are going to be garrisoning in onto this location over here, as the battle ball coming through here for Suppe, going to start taking out those chariot archers on this location, as the army going to be retreating back over here. The villagers get pulled off of this location. If Suppe had a little bit of wood here, I'm not sure what he's spending his wood on apart from farms here. He's got so many villagers on food at this point, but if he had a little bit of wood, a little bit of gold here to throw down a hill fort on this location, it would be absolutely huge, because you could start making some of those portable rams, or maybe even some Huskar or Jarl even would be a really, really good addition to his army at this point, but he does send his units to the meat grinder over here as CountVonCount manages to win that fight on this location. This wall over here going to get battered down now by the battle ball. There are still a handful of priests over here, 4 priests here, which can deal with the battle ball there quite nicely. Over here, the final chariot archer does get dealt with as CountVonCount here. He's got the food income. He's got a good amount of resources here. He's not spending it on armor. Well, he does get himself 1 armory upgrade there in the hack armor here, but it looks like he really, really wants to get to that mythic age. I think it's super important to get there, to get himself Osiris, so he can start at least trading somewhat equally with this army of the Loki player, or at least control an area of the map somewhat. As Suppe is spreading around a lot here. He's gone very heavy on those raiding cavalry as the market now coming up for Suppe in the corner. He's got so much food economy, but he can sell that food if he wants to get a little bit of gold. It's a little bit backwards for Norse. For Loki, normally you're buying food as Loki, but Suppe might be selling that food and getting himself a little bit more gold out of here, or at least starting a trade route or something, because this game looks like it might be somewhat going late game here as CountVonCount, while he is very behind on the economy, it's not looking like he's going to be getting taken out here anytime soon. We do see the battle balls attempting to take down this town center over here as some priests going to be coming over here to defend this. You can simply just repair this back up, maybe get yourself maces. He's already got masons, so this shouldn't be too much of a worry as long as he's got a priest or 2 on this location and some villagers repairing it. As Suppe is just distracting a little bit here, as now we are seeing some great Jarls coming out. Jarls are scary here for the heroic age Egyptian. As we do see Osiris coming through, as Suppe is still trying to push through on this location over here. Now, the question is, which mythic age god does Suppe go for? As we are seeing CountVonCount being very, very sneaky over here, starting to throw up these towers. He's got the walls already set up for some catapults to come in. So Suppe needs to think about this. Does he go for Fimbulwinter or does he go for a Nidhogg? Hell or Tyr? I do think that most of the time, Hell has to be the option here against Egyptian, just for the sake of those fire giants. They're so absurdly strong against axemen, against even fire giant, even elephants. All of the strengths that Egyptian has in the late game, fire giants are needed to deal with them. As we'll see how things are going to go here as the siege tower does get taken out. We see the Ulfsark getting a very, very nice trade over here onto that cavalry there, as the chariot archer going to try and push through. We'll see if Suppe is going to start reacting to that. He does need to, because if there are enough towers get set up over here and a couple catapults get set in onto this location, there is a counter to it in Ballister, but it takes a long time to set up. So he needs to kind of get this dealt with proactively rather than retroactively here moving forward, as the battle ball does push through. We got those mummies starting to come out. Those are very, very scary here, as we do see a Son of Osiris getting cast over onto this location. No City of the Dead just yet for CountVonCount, but it doesn't really matter when you grab that, as the HP will come through nonetheless, and it does push you up to over 600 HP, so a very, very worthwhile upgrade here. The problem is for Isis in this matchup is if you don't go Hathor, which you normally don't, you don't have access to that rock to really protect your Son of Osiris. So you're going to be really careful with where you position this Son of Osiris. If it gets caught out, it's going to get taken down very, very quickly here. As Suppe trying to push through here. He's doing a good job. He's got tons of economy. And look at this. He's going up through hell, which I absolutely love. But this is the problem I was talking about. His town center is getting taken down. And losing a town center against Egyptian is just such a tough thing to deal with for Norse players, because it's just so hard to get it back up. You can't fall behind in this matchup. And it's not like an imbalanced thing. Like, Egyptian can fall behind in this matchup, and it's not imbalanced because Egyptian just doesn't have the economy to deal with Norse in a way. So that kind of like, Norse should always be ahead in a way, and Egyptian should always be behind. So if Egyptian does manage to sneak a town center down, then that's kind of like the Egyptian has done something really good in the matchup, if that makes any sense. I don't know. Anyways. We just see the chariot archers coming through over here. I mean, Suppe's economy is absolutely gigantic. So what he can do here, repair this back up. He's starting to get some more Ulfsark out, but he can just convert a whole bunch of Ulfsark and do a kind of big push through here with his Ulfsark to take this out, or even just a Nidhogg here will clean up these for the time being, as The Ulfsark trying to push through here, taking down the Town Center. There's the Nidhogg. The Ulfsark pushing in. The Nidhogg does get dropped down on this location here. The Town Center might be going down. It will be going down here. As no effective attempt at repairing this has come through. But the catapult getting cleaned up here with the help of a Nidhogg. This Town Center might be able to get back up straight away, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem. But this does really, really hamper Suppe's kind of heroic Mythic Age timing that he's going to get here. And CountVonCount is taking this opportunity to put some really, really aggressive buildings down onto this trade route. Really, really nice play here from CountVonCount to push through here. We are seeing some chariot archers coming through. The watchtower is going to get taken down. Do we see any attempt at a catapult near? No. The Town Center will be allowed back up for the time being here for Suppe. Suppe's getting himself champion cavalry. Love that. No medium infantry just yet, as he's still pushing through on this location with these units. That Son of Osiris has been cleaned up quite a lot here at this point, as the Fire Giant over here is getting taken down by a lot of priests. Fire Giant really strong, but you can't be leaving it by itself. As this Migdol Stronghold does get taken down over here. Nice play by Suppe to clean that up, as he needs to consolidate position and get set up into the Norse late game at this point. We'll see what he's going to go for. There's two options here. He's going through Hell, so he does have access. No, that's Balder. So there's one option really. He's going to be making some portable rams here, but it's not really the unit of choice a lot of the time. Going just for Fire Giant Ballista here, generally speaking, with Hell is the way to go. If you go through Balder and you have Fire Giant, you can go for those Balder rams to push through on locations. They're really, really strong. So we are seeing some more raids coming through onto this top location over here. CountVonCount here is not rebuilding his villages at the moment, but he is getting some more trade route out, and this is really smart by Suppe. He needs to push in onto this corner here and secure this one while securing his own corner. If he can control both corners, it really slows down that late game Egyptian economy from ever getting, or really stops that late game Egyptian economy from ever getting rolling. We'll see if he can actually manage to do it though, because that Son of Osiris here still alive. We still haven't seen City of the Dead coming through for the Son of Osiris either, which means he's actually got a little bit more effective HP than it looks like here. As the Hillfolk trying to come up now for Suppe, a little bit late, not enough units over here. We take a look at his economy, not a lot of economy at the moment, still trying to make that trade route come through, as the Nidhogg over here can take out a lot of those chariot archers. We are seeing the Ulfsark still coming through onto this location. And yeah, this is something that I think that Suppe is really feeling. This Town Center loss here is something that Suppe is really feeling right now, in that his trade route here is just not able to have gotten really going here. And even so, we are seeing units here disrupting it even more so. And this is giving CountVonCount very, very little bits of time to make more and more stuff happen. I love this play here from Suppe, getting it onto the back here, spending some of that wood on this location. Selling wood at this point, not really worth it in the grand scheme of things, because it's only 44 gold, but maybe it would be worth it here for Suppe, just to get a little bit of desperation resources in. As now the ox caravans are walking straight into the meat grinder here, as CountVonCount is getting maximum value out of his army on this position. Suppe does notice that he's going to be attempting to pull his ox caravans back here. A little bit of micro can be done here to drop into that market over there. Very smart by Suppe to make that happen here, as the units pushing through here now for Suppe. He still doesn't have the resources to start trimming, or the economy just yet, to start trimming his villagers down and get himself more of that military that you normally get in the late game here for Norse, because he hasn't quite reached it just yet, as the camels are getting taken down. We're going to see some, I love this, we're going to see some mountain giants coming out of this temple now for Suppe to try and take down this town center. Beautiful play there. He doesn't have Rampage just yet. Rampage is a very, very expensive upgrade though, at 300 gold, 20 favor, but vitally important for those mountain giant raids to really come in and see any serious effect here. But we'll see if it's going to do anything on this location. CountVonCount doesn't have architects just yet, as we do see the legendary Jarls coming in over here, going to start taking down these chariot archers as best as they can. That Son of Osiris has now got itself that upgrade City of the Dead here, giving himself an extra 30% hit points. It doesn't give the Son of Osiris extra HP, as the Nidhogg does fall there finally. It doesn't give the Son of Osiris extra damage like it does the Pharaoh, but it is a very, very, very good upgrade to grab nonetheless. And like I said, maybe even just one ballista here to start at least getting a little bit of chip damage down onto that Son of Osiris could be a vital here. But Suppe is just sending units into the meat grinder. He's slowly getting closer and closer to that Son of Osiris, but CountVonCount is trading here so absurdly well that it's just allowing him to survive in this position, as we are seeing even more side builds coming through. The Mountain Giant's going to be taking out that temple, no, not temple, Migdol stronghold over here. Now, you do have to be careful with the Mountain Giants. They've only got 50% hack armor, so they're not really that great against the Spearmen. Spearmen are actually decent to take down the Mountain Giant if you have enough of them, but he is going to be doing that now, as he's now starting to move the Mountain Giant into position now to take down the town center over on that location. I do not believe he's got Granite Blood. No, we go up to like 1400 HP with Granite Blood. That's the Mountain Giant, or not Mountain Giant, the Giant HP upgrade. It takes 60 favor though. It's a lot of favor to get that upgrade. Super worth it though. As the Raiders going to be moving in onto this position over here, as the Champion Spearmen are now in. Champion Spearmen are a little bit scary here for Norse. The answer is generally some Thrown Axemen, but you can go for Champion Ulfsark here as well to deal with those Spearmen. They're very strong. If you've got Braga, you can get Call of Valhalla, Swine Array not so important, but Call of Valhalla definitely to boost the Ulfsark HP up to compete with those Champion Spearmen just a little bit better. As the Mountain Giant are taking down this town center, we do see the Priest here trying to deal with this, and it's going to be really close here. The Mummy going to be coming in here though, and that next Fire Giant's coming in. That next Fire Giant will get cleaned up there by the Mummy here. As the Hill Fort coming up on this location, we do see Suppe trying to grab this spot over here, but Suppe has done a good job over here of securing this corner, so he should just throw a market up now as soon as he can to start the trade route back up onto this location over here, because his trade route is getting absolutely demolished on this location. But now the Raiders and the Jarl's going to be coming in onto this spot over here. He sees the Son of Osiris now looking like it's very much out of position. We'll see if he's going to be able to take this one down at any point over here, as the Chariot Archer is trying to get in. We see the Ox Caravan getting cleaned up, but this has just been an absolute masterclass here of CountVonCount of being a thorn, an absolute thorn in Suppe's side for the entirety of this game, not letting any amount of comfort happen in this game. As the unit's going to be coming in here, they see the Son of Osiris, they're going to start taking this Son of Osiris down. It's getting cleaned up here, and this is going to be absolutely huge for Suppe to continue along in this game. He cleans up the Son of Osiris. He cleans up the heavy chariots. Over here, we are seeing some side builds getting set up now by CountVonCount as well to start putting some pressure onto this location over here. We do see that Suppe has spotted it, so he will have to move over there and deal with that. Meanwhile, over here, we are seeing this location getting taken out as well. So the question really is going to become, what can Suppe do here to set up this trade route as fast as he possibly can? Because effectively what he needs to do is get up to about 25 to 30 Ox Caravans and trim that food and wood economy down by converting to Ulfsarks to around about 40 villages. So you want to have in the late game for Norse, when you got fully upgraded units, if we take a look at this, Suppe doesn't even have fully upgraded units yet. He still needs to get himself a little bit more iron upgrades here. But effectively, once you have all of your upgrades, you want to be going around about 60 to 70 villages gathering for Norse, and that includes your trade route in order to compete with, say, like the late game of an Egyptian who has got access to mercenary, or the late game of a Zeus player who's going to have access to all of that other crazy strong stuff. So you just kind of deal with it with like having the stronger late game economy and having some of those other things. Though that being said, Loki doesn't have access to Winter Harvest, so some of that does go out the drain, so you might need a little bit more villages on food than, say, an Odin or a Thor player who goes through Skadi. As you do see this location over here starting to get a problem again. We see some more Mountain Giants getting queued up. I'm still confused as to why you didn't grab Rampage here. I think it would have been an absolute godsend on this location, but we're seeing all of these buildings getting cleaned up. The other thing that Suppe could do is sneak in onto this location over here. No, there's not really any way to sneak in onto that location. I take it all back. If we take a look at the line of sight here, there's some random spots over here that Suppe could sneak a temple up and start putting pressure onto this town center, but it's a little bit of a fool's game in all honesty, as Suppe does recognize that this is going on and he's not making the same mistake as before. It gets even more important the later the game goes on to make sure that you deal with these side builds much earlier than later. Sooner rather than later, as the phrase goes. There's some more walls coming up onto this location over here, as the Mountain Giants are going to be moving forward onto this location here to try and take this out. We'll see if CountVonCount is reacting to this. He does have a priest out already. A couple more priests going to be coming through. Look at how weak CountVonCount's economy is, though, in this game. He is so painfully behind on economy here. He's got 800 gold in the bank, trying to spend it all as best as he can. He's got 33 villagers on food, but 0 food in the bank, as the Mountain Giant's still putting pressure on to this location, as the priests trying just as hard as they can to defend here. Suppe now trying to push through onto this location. Watchtower coming out. Spearman over here doing what it can do. We see the temple coming out onto this location over here. Going to be dealing with these units over here. I like this play because now he can put pressure onto this location up to the top here. I do think that once Suppe starts getting a little bit more gold economy, if he gets this market reset up in the corner, I mean, he's got the market over here. He just needs to get himself a ton more caravans as the villagers get pushed off that gold mine over there. He does have a little bit of gold over here and over here. 6 villagers currently gathering gold as they move up onto this location here, but Suppe here is I mean, he's still making some progress here. We'll see if he can figure this one out. I mean, here's a great location to set up a bunch of towers to deal with that trade route, because you can see the trade route walking straight through here. So a trade route blockage on this location will be absolutely huge for Suppe moving forward here to really hurt CountVonCount and get a tangible advantage in this game. But the Spearman raids coming through here. Spearman raids are actually really tough in the late game for Norse to deal with. You do need effectively Ulsark to deal with them. You can't send Thorn Axeman, they're too slow. You can't send Fire Giant, they're too slow. So you basically need those Ulfsark to come in, as we are seeing Suppe just saying, look, I don't actually need these villages, and he's actually right. He needs trade, but he's only got one market here. So, I mean, this might be obvious, and it's easy to say from the caster's couch, but when you set up your economy, your trade route, and your trade route gets picked off, the best way to recover that trade route is to slap down 2 more markets anywhere on the map and just start that trade for Norse. So even if Suppe just grabbed this Thorn Axeman and just dropped 2 markets here, he would be able to make that trade route back up a lot more quicker. You can look at all the resources in the bank for Suppe. He's just got no gold here. This is the problem here for Suppe in this game. Whereas, I mean, CountVonCount's also got no gold, but this is going to be really tricky here moving forward here for both players here. Both players no gold. This is a very tense moment. As we see, look at this from CountVonCount. He's coming in onto this location. Suppe not reacting to this, not putting the walls back up over here to prevent this from happening after he cleaned up that side build. And the side build is back up and it's fully in session here. There's not enough gold now for Suppe to really deal with this, and he needs to stay in on this position to stop the trade route from really continuing here. But this damage here, both players taking a lot of damage on this location. We're also seeing CountVonCount moving in on this position over here as he's unrelenting with these side builds. The catapult is now out. 1 catapult, 2 catapults through. 600 or 800 resources, or 800 resources being spent here to take down this fortified town center. Not a whole lot. Whereas while Suppe is dealing tons of damage to the CountVonCount economy, he is not able to rebuild his economy moving forward here in this game, as his town center is going to be falling here, and Suppe just simply cannot deal with this anymore. He does have the Migdol up, actually, so some Ballista over on this position could have dealt with this catapult for just a little bit here and at least help the town center from staying up. But I believe that Suppe is just he's spread too thin here in this game, losing this town center here. CountVonCount here, though, I mean, he's at full population. He's still pumping out Camel Caravan. He's still pumping out the trade route over here, and he can start a trade route up on this location to not go through this meat grinder that Suppe has set up. And Suppe does decide in that moment to tap out here. What a game here by both players here. Suppe finding such a crazy advantage here, but just not figuring out how to convert it. But you have to give credit there to CountVonCount to being an absolute nuisance in where the economy really mattered, which was that trade route, those gold mines, just continually picking apart Suppe's economy here. And Suppe just couldn't find, well, he didn't devote the time into really setting up that trade route to give him the gold he needs to then convert his economy into that late game economy that he really needs to thrive against economically suffering Egyptian late game here. A really, really well played game by both players. If you guys enjoyed this game, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTubes, hit that subscribe button. And look at that unit kill to loss ratio there. And I will see you guys in the next game.